Hey, welcome to the Join the Journey podcast. I'm Aaron Chase. I'm the host of the podcast. Real quick before we start the episode, I just made an Instagram specifically for the podcast. So it's JTJ Pod on Instagram. And I want to start growing the podcast. I want more views. I want more people to watch and enjoy it and get to know all of these Chicago comedians. So if you could follow the Instagram and share all of these clips and these pictures and these videos as much as possible, that would be greatly appreciated. All right, let's start the episode.
Yeah, it seems like she's just that way. You know what I mean? Like if you ask her about it, she'll tell you. You know?
It's very sweet.
For sure. Yeah, I've only met her a few times, just at hearing mics at the open mics and shit.
Yeah.
And she hosted at the Red Room one time, and I really liked her because she was like talking about her dick and shit. And like she was like, "Suck my dick," and I was like, "Dude, she's fucking cool. I like her."
Yeah. Okay. So you've been, and I made a rule for the podcast. I actually made that rule the day you brought it up we were at Red Room, and the rule is if you've been doing stand up a year consistently, none of this I've been doing it a week.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
I've only hit the stage 13 times.
If you can, I'm sure you can't even count on your hands anymore how many mics.
No.
That's to me is how you know, like, okay, this person is serious, at least for now. But you've been doing it a year, and it's been a year. What was last Friday?
So the first time I did it was at the Lodge Friday night mic.
Okay.
So technically it was like Saturday was my thing, but you know, years and shit. It was a Friday night at the Lincoln Lodge, dude. Yeah, everybody from Power Hour went over there, so it was like the whole Power Hour crew.
And how did that first one go?
Fuck, dude, it was terrible. It was terrible.
Yeah.
So it was funny because the host kept switching throughout the night. I think Misitano started it off, and then by the end, Albers finished it. And there was like a host in between. I can't remember who. Maybe Tito or somebody. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude. So I did my set, bombed like no laughs. And after I got off, the worst of it is Albers went up, and you know how Albers is with his pauses. He's like, "Well, that was weird," and then just got the biggest laugh, dude. And I was like, "Fuck."
Zach is one of those guys who is effortlessly hilarious.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And it's just his personality, just who he is just kind of funny.
He's got that Southern in him, and he's got that take on life where it's just like, nah, just be you. Yeah.
He's very, very chill. Blasé feels like a negative connotation, but very chill.
Yeah, 100%.
How old are you?
21, sir.
Okay. Wow. So you started when you were 20.
Yeah.
And what made you, why start all this?
Shit, man. It was funny because like right before the pandemic, I was 18, like it was in high school.
Yeah. You went through your senior year through.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
Okay.
that sucked. Fucking sucked. Missed the prom. Graduation was a blow off. It was like our graduation was like a drive-through graduation at the Lincoln Park Zoo. So it was like we drove up in our gowns and our masks and shit, got out for like 2 minutes to get our diplomas and our picture or whatever, and then got in our car and left.
Do you feel cheated out of a piece of your life at all?
In some ways, yes. In other ways, no. Because I don't know. I'm for me personally, like I never went to homecoming or anything. Like I never went to those dances or type shit. I was always smoking weed and just hanging out, like anyways. So I feel like I did my high school shit and had my fun in that. What's a prom? It's not like I was gonna go get laid or some shit, you know?
Yeah.
It really wasn't gonna be anything except for get drunk and party, which I do every weekend.
Okay.
So I don't feel like I missed too much, but a prom probably would have been nice.
Sure. Yeah, that must have been a weird, like, as going through COVID as an adult, as a 30-year-old man, was, I'd imagine, a very different experience than high school, and you're still.
I'd imagine, yeah.
Yeah, and you're still, and I don't want to sound condescending, but you're still young.
No. Oh no. I get that all the time, man.
You're in a scene filled with like old
30-year-olds and 40-year-olds. Yeah.
How are you? Wait. I should go back to the first question, which is what got you into the. Why did you decide to do this?
Sorry. Yeah. So I was 18 and I was gonna join the Marine Corps, man. That was my first plan.
I'm so glad you didn't do that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I was gonna join the Marine Corps, and my plan was to like join the Marine Corps and like, I'm gonna try stand up after. I feel like I have so many stories from the Marine Corps, you know, it'll transfer over. And then COVID hit. And then I kind of found out that they were doing boot camp in masks. Everybody was wearing masks during boot camp.
Okay.
And shit. But that's not the main reason. The main reason.
I was like, yes, that's why you didn't go to the Marines, huh?
No, that was just one of the first things where it was like the kindling of the fire, I guess. But yeah, no, the main reason is I failed the drug test. That was the main reason.
Okay.
And another reason is a lot of people don't know this about me is I'm not very good with blood, my own blood. Personally, I pass out.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And I'll puke too. It's a double 2 for 1.
Yeah.
Like some people just kind of puke, or some people just pass out. I do both.
Jesus. So you puke then pass out, right?
Pass out then puke.
Ooh, yeah. That's dangerous.
It's dangerous, yeah.
Okay. And wow, so your own blood. So if like you saw me drawing blood, you're good?
I'm usually good. Yeah, unless it's like bad, like you need like stitches or staples or some shit, then I might be a little woozy.
Yeah.
But like my own blood, like I got a paper cut.
And it freaked you out?
And it was a bad pain, like I was bleeding, but it wasn't like anything crazy. Passed out.
Wow. Yeah. Is it like an anxiety thing? Is it just a
I don't know, man. My mom was doing a little reading on it because last time I passed out I was in front of her. She was a little freaked out, and she read up on it, and I guess it's just like a drop of iron or something in my body, or some type of chemical, not iron. Maybe I'm messing that up, but it's like some drop of chemical in my body, and it just kind of makes my body shut down.
Okay, so it's not a mental thing. It's not like I'm afraid of spiders, I pass out.
Right, right.
And so in the Marines, because of that, it affected. I mean,
so they never found that out.
Oh, okay.
They just saw the weed that they failed the drug test. They were like, nah.
Why do they give a fuck about? Can you smoke cigarettes?
Yeah, you can smoke cigarettes.
Can you drink?
No, you can't drink. You're not supposed to.
Okay.
Like you have on base, no alcohol. There's no alcohol on base. They do it anyways. You know.
Of course. Yeah.
Nicotine is fine. Like weed is fine, or weed. Nicotine cigarettes is fine, except for boot camp. Like you got to graduate boot camp, and then once you get out in the field,
earn the right to get cancer.
And then you could exactly earn the right to get cancer, for sure.
So you were, and I'm gonna make an assumption here because usually when people say, "Yeah, I was just gonna go to the Marines," and they don't sound like gung ho about it. It sounds like you didn't have a lot of focus or drive at the time. You didn't know what to do.
I didn't want to go to college. I literally was like, for freshman year, I was like, I'm going to the Marine Corps. Like I was in ROTC all through high school.
Okay.
I was like, I'm joining the military, man. And found weed and just fucking got addicted, dude. I just got addicted. It was bad.
Speaking of which, if you want to like,
oh fuck yeah, dude. Thank you.
Yeah, I get you. Weed didn't come into my life until I was in college. What would have been sophomore, junior year was when I really started smoking.
That's pretty late.
Yeah, I feel like I've been a late bloomer in every regard of my life. Like the decision to move to Chicago was when I was 30, which feels like a very late time to be doing something like that. I feel like my maturity has happened a lot later in life, and it just is what it is. Everyone has their own paths. So you found weed, and it kind of fucked your motivation in terms of Marines.
That's the thing, bro. Like if they allowed me to smoke weed in the Marines, I'd be in the Marines, because I'd 100% go fight for my country. I just think it's, I don't know, kind of badass.
Okay.
But
okay.
I guess that's the attention whore in me. But
so then why stand up? That's such a different thing from Marines.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. It was kind of an impulse decision, but at the same time, it was like, I don't know. My girlfriend at the time, I mentioned her, like, trying stand-up, and she was like, nah, comics are gross, and, like, telling dirty shit in basement. Like, she said some negative shit about it. And then I kind of just, like, blew past it. And I was like, all right, I'll just join the Marine Corps and probably do construction after or some shit. And then we broke up, and then I tried to join the Marine Corps, failed the drug test, whatever. And then I was like, fuck it, I'll just try it. Quit my job. Tried it.
What was your job at the time?
I was a doorman up in Edgewater.
Oh, okay. Like you like a belt, like you open the door for rich people?
Yeah. You know that pink building off Bryn Mawr and Sheridan?
No, but I believe it exists.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's an old building. Like Al Capone stayed at that. It was built in like 1929.
Okay. And they give you that little pill cap, and you got to wear like.
Yeah. I had to wear a suit. Yeah.
And your job was literally open a door.
Opening doors, but it was a It was a co-op.
Okay.
It was a residential building, so.
Weird.
I had to know everybody and shit like that. But
okay.
Yeah.
So it sounds like, if I'm understanding you correctly, it sounds like it was the Marines. It was going to give you a sense of focus. We came into play.
Yeah, dude.
And motivation was lost. COVID happened. Life got weird. Just decided, fuck, I'm going to do
I'm just going to try it.
Okay. And now it doesn't seem like a try anymore. It seems like this is what you're doing.
I'm going.
When did you get hooked? When was it like, oh, this is the thing?
Probably the first or second time, honestly. Like, the first time it was just like, I don't know. I feel like I got lucky for the first time, but I didn't even know it because it was just like almost all the best comics in the city in one room, and I didn't even know it at the time, you know?
Yeah.
And I basically threw myself into the wolves' den, right? And just kind of like, and just rolled with the punches, and I was like, damn, man, it's kind of fun, even though I bombed, like, completely. But the second time I went that Monday to the Monday night mic, not 8-bit, but like the regular one. And I did good. Like, I got laughs.
Oh, that was your first time getting laughs?
That was my first time getting laughs. It was the second time, dude, and I got some laughs. And I was like, holy shit, I could do it.
Yeah.
And then went to Redline VR on the next day, Tuesday. Stone cold again. Nothing. So, I don't know. I thought it just was like, I got to figure this puzzle out.
Yeah, the highs and the lows of comedy, and I like the way you put it. It's a puzzle
for sure.
People, I've heard there are anomalies. There's your Eddie Murphys, and to bring it even back to our scene, there's you know Mike Robinson.
Yeah.
Okay. There's Mike Robinsons. There's I think Brandon Kiefer. I want him on the podcast. I think he's probably one of the most underestimated.
I'm sure if you ask him, he'd do it.
Yeah, I did. He was busy.
Oh.
Yeah. I love him. I'll get him on here eventually.
Yeah.
But I think there are anomalies. There are people who are naturally just funny, but I think by and large you have to learn the skills of stand up.
Yeah, for sure.
And I do you know I have a memory issue?
I don't really. Sometimes, like, every now and then when it comes to like little shit, like, oh, I gotta what's that thing? Get my emissions test or some shit, you know, like things like that. I kind of forget, but it's like if it's main things like this podcast, I remember this shit.
Yes. Do you know I have a memory issue?
I did not know that.
Okay. Very, very long story short, head injury, got attacked, my shitty memory.
Oh, I think you told me about that attack.
Okay.
Okay.
So I have a memory of first meeting you. Or seeing you, but do you remember when you first saw me? Or
I do, actually.
What happened?
It was at Red Room, and out front.
Not the most recent time.
No, this was back in last September maybe.
Okay, and what was going on? What do you remember?
You were just standing outside with a bunch of comics.
Just fucking around.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was so scared to like come talk to everybody, so I just kind of went in, signed up, and sat by myself.
That's very reasonable. I think it's better to slowly ingratiate yourself than be the guy who's like, "Hey guys, I'm new. Look how funny I am."
Yeah. No, I didn't want to be that man because like I hate invading people's space like that. You know what I mean?
Same. I go into corners and open mics. I do my time. I leave. Like I don't. I have this thing. I don't want to bother nobody.
Right. I mean, if I know you, I'm gonna come up.
Yeah.
And, you know.
But my first memory of you was at. It was at, not Trigger Warning. It's in the basement of the VA.
Power Hour?
Power. It was at Power Hour. You went up. It didn't go well. and Emily Ogle was the.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that?
I remember that night, yeah.
I remember watching that. And I think I even said good job to you afterwards. Because I remember watching that.
So you lied to me, is what you did?
No. No, the set was bad. What I mean by good job is good job for keeping your chin up and keep going. Like it's and I think even Emily she didn't apologize, but she came up and was like, "Hey big dog, I'm just playing around with him." I can't do an Emily impression.
No,
but,
no, don't even try. She'll bust it right now.
Yeah, right. But you just had a sense of resolve about you. You didn't look happy. You looked very down.
For sure. Yeah, I was, but I was like, this is what it is, and I'm taking it. You take your punches, and you roll. That's
the hard part. That's the thing that people don't get about this shit is like, it's not. I've come to realize, and I don't know if this has happened to you. Do you talk to your friends and family about comedy or random people?
Only if they ask about it.
Okay. The things I hear all the time when it comes to that is like the surprise that you do it every night. In people's heads, it's like, yeah, I mean, Friday and Saturday, maybe Sunday, you
it's like
perform at
thing,
the Laugh Factory.
Right.
Obviously, and that's where comedy is, and then you know that's what you do.
Right. They don't think it's these little dive bars and shit.
And the working out material and the bombing and all of that. It's a wild experience, and I'm excited that you've decided to really latch onto it.
Thanks, man.
Is the goal to be what is the goal? Yeah.
My main goal is just to be able to headline at every comedy club in the country.
Okay, so you want to be a working comic.
That's a working comic, a comedian, hitting the road, making money, doing comedy.
Now, you are starting young, and I think it's like almost a double-edged sword.
It's a leg up, but not really, in my opinion. Like, yeah, of course, I'm young, but I also don't have experience. Right. So I don't feel like I can get as much material.
Mm-hmm. It's very self-aware. Where'd you hear that? Why do you feel that?
Shit, man, I still got 50 more years on my life at least, right?
Ideally.
Ideally.
Yeah, because I started. I mean, I did it when I was 18, like once or twice, and I did it sporadically. But I was one of those guys you probably would not have respected back then. Yeah. I didn't do it seriously.
Well, that's any new comic.
Yeah, and then I started taking it seriously. I would have been about 25.
Okay, that's still young.
Yeah. And the older I've gotten, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing whatever happens with you. But the older I've gotten, the more people say you find your voice. Yeah. And the more I feel like, I know what I get who I am as a comic a little more. Like. Yeah. But for you, where's your head at in terms of writing and talking? Like, how do you feel as a comedian right now, 1 year in?
It's funny, man. Like, I really don't think all the material I'm writing right now.
You think it's dog shit or something?
Not that it's dog shit. Like, I know I have I can say I have a solid 7 minutes of stand up where it's a tight 7.
So you have water back there, just so you know.
Oh, appreciate it, man.
It's behind Angela. You don't know who Angela is.
No, who's Angela?
That's Angela. All right, young blood. Okay, young Thundercat. This is Angela, girl with the hair, not the one without the hair. The one, that one. That's Angela. From Boy Meets World. You never seen Boy Meets World?
Nah, I never.
Yeah, that's.
I've heard of it. Of course.
I'm being an old man.
I think that's Cash, but
yeah, it's done.
Yeah.
I'm being an old man right now, but yeah, there's water behind Angela. What the fuck were we saying? What were we talking about?
My headspace. Yeah. I honestly like. I feel like your first few years in stand up, and Kiefer told me this, so I kind of been carrying it with me. Yeah. Is you're just throwing shit at the wall. You know what I mean? You're just kind of seeing what sticks. You're most likely not going to use any shit from your first 2 years in stand-up if you're a good comedian. You know what I mean? You're just going to keep writing and keep writing. So that's what I'm doing. I just keep writing, keep throwing shit at the wall. Mm-hmm. I'm riding the wave right now. I feel like your first few years, you don't got to worry about shit, right? Like, it takes years for anybody to, like, get any sort of traction. Mm-hmm. You know, it doesn't matter who you are. So right now, I'm just riding the wave, man. I don't got to worry about it. I feel like once I hit 3 years, 4 years, 5 years in stand-up, I'm going to start getting road gigs and maybe doing some shit. Because then I'll have at least 15 minutes. Yeah. Right? Hopefully.
I'd imagine. So if you're going the at the pace that you're going right now.
Yeah.
Part of me is just because we smoked. And part of this is, when you're, what do you believe in terms of drunk or high like behavior? Like, do you think it's more honest, or do you think it's covered in drugs? You know what I'm saying?
It's really covered in drugs for sure.
I gotta do the thing.
So yeah, I think drugs are covered. Like, but of course there's always a new take. Mm-hmm. There's a new take on anything. Just based on people's experiences and shit.
Yeah. Well, what I was gonna say was I'm very interested in seeing where you're going to go. I've been talking in terms of age. Most of these comics that I've been talking to are older. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the podcast has been, so then what happened here? And then what happened? And then what happened? And now you're here. Yeah. And for you, it's like, I guess I could ask you about what happened to you in middle school.
Yeah, but right. Who gives a shit, bro?
Yeah, I don't get the vibe that you would care anyway. No. You have a very chill, very chill.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
you too, man.
Yeah.
I remember the first time you were hosting at the lodge one time, and this was honestly like the first time I was like, oh shit, maybe I could do this. I had it was a stupid bit about how Muhammad was the most common name in the world.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And after I went up, you went up there and you were like, do you know when you have a bit and it's like, you know it's going to be good?
Yeah.
Like, it's almost there, you know? It's like, but there's something there. And you said that about that joke, and I was like, oh, shit, maybe I could do this.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, I'm honored to be involved in your...
No, you're 100% implanted in there, because, yeah, you were the first, like, comic that gave me a compliment.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I don't know if I count. I feel like when Brandon or Bob Keane gives you a compliment, then you know. Because I think I'm a fairly friendly person.
For sure.
Yeah, like
For
I don't know. If you do bad, I'm not gonna shit on you.
Yeah.
And if you do good, I'll give you a compliment. That's kind of
Yeah.
how I look at things. But
Yeah. No,
so
it
early in
made
the
me feel
morning,
good,
we
dude.
just smoked.
It's
Sorry,
alright.
what were you saying?
No, man, it made me feel good, and I was like, all right, I could do this shit, and yeah, I always thought you were fucking hilarious, and
thank you.
fuck yeah, dude.
What do your parents think about all this? How did they feel when you didn't pass the drug test?
I don't even know if they know about that.
Are they gonna watch this?
Probably, but it's all right.
Okay.
Then yeah, they know I smoke weed and shit. Yeah, they know I'm a fucking complete stoner. Yeah, no, I mean they are more concerned about my passing out thing. That really freaks them out more than the smoking weed. And so yeah, I don't know. I think they're like whatever. They're happy for me. They see that I'm happy doing this, and I think
And they're
that's
happy for you.
And they're happy for me. Yeah.
That's good, man. You seem, I don't know. Do you have friends outside of comedy?
Not anymore now.
You lost them all?
Lost them all. They're in college, or me and my girlfriend dumped them, or like because we went through a whole thing. But
Yeah.
Whatever.
Do you mind? Do you want to get in that, or is it something you
We
want?
can. I mean, it was kind of bullshit. It was just a toxic relationship, is what it was. I wasn't good for her. She wasn't good for me, and yeah, like lost all my friend group.
Yeah. Because of that breakup?
No, just because we were dating, like during our dating.
Oh, it was like you guys started dating, and then you and your friend slowly. Okay.
Right,
Did they
right,
not
we
like her?
slowly- Huh?
Did they not like her?
Nah, they didn't like her. They didn't like her. She didn't like them.
Okay.
It was a whole thing.
Yeah.
But it was like it's high school bullshit.
Yeah.
And it's whatever. It's done with now.
Okay. And so now your friends are in college doing their own thing.
Yeah, they're doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Every now and then, they'll like kept following me on Instagram and like say what's up and shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we don't like hang out or anything.
Have you found friends in the scene? Do you feel like?
For sure.
Oh, you have your team, your
For
crew?
Sure. I got a little crew.
Oh,
Yeah, somewhat of a crew.
May I hear your crew?
My crew. Shit, man. James is in that crew for sure. Me and James are pretty tight.
Last name?
Najar, N-word, James N-word.
Is that what he calls himself?
No, that's what we all call him because
Okay.
Najar is pretty close.
Fair, that's fair. I'm gonna look this. I need face. But
Yeah,
okay,
you're
so
good.
James.
James and Jar is pretty in that crew.
Oh.
Yeah, that guy.
Okay, yeah, New York.
Yeah, New York.
I
kid.
know him as New York.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's in
Yeah.
your crew.
He's in that crew for sure. Pearl, I love Pearl. She's in that crew for sure. Kaya Osborne, she's in that.
Yeah, I don't know nobody. Hold
Yeah,
up,
dude.
Pearl.
These are all new comics. That's
that
the
what
thing.
that
I
is?
think that's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What's her last name? Mendoza?
Pearl Mendoza.
Is it Pearl Mendoza?
Yeah.
Okay.
Robot Nick's girlfriend.
She has a lot of pictures of creepy things. I don't know what the
dude.
fuck she looks like.
Yeah, nah,
That's fine.
you
Black
know,
girl?
You know, no, she's Latina, kind of gothic.
Got you. I'm sure I do.
Oh,
Regardless.
if you see her, you'd be like, oh yeah.
So you have your little friend group now.
Little friend group.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you? I don't know how do you guys all relate within comedy? Like, do you guys go to mics together, or is it you just have been seeing each other around and now you're closer? Do you hang out outside of comedy?
Yeah, we'll hang out outside comedy. Like, me and James go to the beach every now and then, and did that with Kaya too. We'll just kind of hang out. I mean, it's mostly mics and shit, but I would say those are like kind of like my best friends. Like, I would say I'm friends with you. I'm friends with you. I'm friends with fucking Perez. Fucking, I forgot Perez, man.
Matthew Doyle
Perez is probably like actually my best friend, honestly.
Really?
Because he was my first friend in comedy. He was the first person I sat next to at that Lincoln Lodge mic.
That was awesome.
And yeah.
Also, that's why you watched his episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
He's my friend. Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
I love his views.
Please elaborate. Okay, so let's dig into this.
Well, I'm used to it because I have family who are like Republican
Yeah.
and conservative and all that, so I'm used to people who talk that way. And I agree with him in some things, like for sure, freedom of speech, be able to say what you want to say.
Yeah.
But I understand also there are consequences with things you say. But I do love how he's like, I don't give a fuck, just say what you want to say.
I want to talk about that more. Okay, so to acknowledge his podcast first, because I don't like to, especially when we do the podcast, I don't like to talk about what somebody said or critique it without them being here. Because I don't want to misrepresent what they've said. For sure. So, but
I respect that.
Thank you. When it came to Matthew Doyle Perez, I don't. So, like I was saying, I don't know. Fucking when you come in here, I don't know. Hopefully, you're not a murderer.
Yeah.
And so as I was piecing together his belief systems and his opinions, I was like, oh wow, we disagree on damn near everything. This is going to be interesting.
For sure. No, I love people like that, dude.
You said what?
I love people like that.
That are different.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's something interesting. I struggle with it because on one end I'm like, oh, that's interesting. On a outside of my emotions, on a purely analytical curiosity way, it's like, oh wow, how did you end up with this belief?
For sure, right.
What happened? I think this is what I like about the podcast. Is it's like, what happened that led you up to who you are now and why you think the way you think?
Right. And
how much is that nature nurture? Like, what's going on there? And so on one end, on that logical end, I'm like, oh wow, that's really interesting. On another end of it, I'm like, I know what this leads to. These belief systems, I know historically speaking, I know what these belief systems lead to, and they're super dangerous to me. And we'll talk, but to me, they're very dangerous and they're volatile and it's a slippery slope. And so I guess I'm in a quandary with it. But for you, what are the things that you agree with and disagree with him, and then we can kind of go from there.
Well, we definitely disagree on abortion, for sure. Like,
what is he?
I'm pro-choice.
You're pro-choice?
He's pro-life.
Really?
For sure. And
okay.
And I think he'll say that. I don't know, maybe.
I'm sure he's fine with it.
Yeah. So we definitely disagree on that, but I understand his views, for sure. But at the same time, it's like, it's not our fucking...
Yeah.
It's not really our business, bro.
Okay.
Like, if you're not with the girl, like, it's just one of those one-night stand things. You're not with the girl.
Yeah.
And she decides to go on her own thing, and she wants to have the baby, and she doesn't want you in her life with it, and you could give a fuck or whatever, and whatever. She can do what the fuck she wants, because it's her life. She's her own person, too, right? If you're in a relationship, that's a different story. That's between you two.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think there is something to be said about if the man, like, let's say hypothetical, woman wants to get rid of it, man wants to keep it. Then it gets real sticky with how you deal with that.
100%.
And I can see an argument for both perspectives of that.
Right.
But yeah, if all parties are like, yeah, let's not bring another human into this, it feels like, to me, I think one of my issues with like pro-life beliefs is like, you're not taking consideration, you're making a human.
Right.
Like, this isn't going to be a baby forever. This is going to be a person that has experiences, is going to live, is going to love, is going to die.
100%.
And it feels like people that are pro-life just think of a baby.
Right.
And it just kind of stops there.
Right.
But I wanted to go back to the freedom of speech stuff, because I think I might have some pushback, but I'm not sure.
Go ahead, push it back.
But what is your, so you agree with him on?
I agree with him. Say whatever the fuck you want to say.
Okay.
But I just know that there are consequences with some things you say. Like, big example, the N-word.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a white guy. I can't say the N-word.
You're white? I thought you were Italian.
I'm
Puerto Rican or some shit.
Sicilian.
Sicilian?
Yeah,
okay.
My mom's Sicilian.
Gotcha. You tan well.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I can't say that shit. Yep. You know what I mean? Nor do I want to say it. Like, I have no reason to say it. I have no reason to call somebody that word.
Yeah.
The F word is another one. Like, if I'm not, I'll say it, but it definitely doesn't hit that punch as the N word. I'm sure with gay people it does, but it's like,
Yeah, it's
it's definitely that thing. I just know there are consequences with words you want to say, but I'm not gonna strike a person down for the things they say.
okay. All right. So let's say you see another white person using the N word. Do you strike that person down for the things they say, or is that across the board? Because it's not you, and you feel like you don't have autonomy over this person.
For me, bro, I'm just gonna look around and see if there's. I'm gonna look around and see if there's any black people, and if there's black people, I know to take a step back.
Okay.
Right.
And if there's not,
and if there's not, I'm gonna be like, that was risky, and then just keep it going, keep the conversation going.
Let's do a scenario.
Okay.
I'm gonna be all right. So we're at a bar, right?
Yeah.
And you're hanging out. You're sitting there. No open mic. There's nobody. You don't know nobody.
Yeah.
And the bar's pretty empty. And then I'm like a 32-year-old white dude. I'm me but white. And we're sitting there. We don't know each other that well. And we're talking. And I'm like, I just don't like these niggers. You know what I mean? What do you do?
Honestly, bro, I would probably be like, all right. And just kind of straightforward, just be like straightforward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna try and change his views.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're swimming upstream or paddling up, but whatever the fuck. Like,
it's 2023 at this point. If you're acting like it's 1923, it's a wash.
It's a wash. They're in it.
Yeah.
You can't really. The only way they're gonna change is if they leave that little bubble of a town they're in, go somewhere else and talk to people, right? And find it on their own, dude. You can't change your mind right there in that little dive bar.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's why I'm more like, say what you want to say. I know my views. I know my thing. I know the people I like. Whatever. I'm not gonna be friends with them.
Yeah. I think for me it's complicated. There's a hold on, I gotta find the quote. There was a quote. It came from like the World War II era. I'm gonna find it. I wish I had a Jamie.
Jamie, that'd be sick. you need a producer, man.
Yeah.
One day.
Yeah, I had.
It's growing. I've seen the pod. It's growing.
Yeah, I think it's actually been pretty cool.
Yeah, dude.
I think people seem to enjoy it and trying to. God damn it! Where's the fucking?
It's
quote?
different from everybody else, man.
It's different. What do you mean?
Everybody else is trying to be funny.
Oh yeah, not
like,
me.
At least all the comic podcasts. Like, everybody else is trying to be funny and like do bits and like segments and shit. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Do your thing. That's a taste for shit like that. But I love like just being chill, just talking.
Yeah, it's. I'm just. It's like I know you're funny. When I see the podcast where everyone's being funny, I'm like that. First off, I'm glad they exist. If every podcast was my podcast, it'd be boring as shit.
Oh, for sure.
Like, I'm glad that get ready for a hot take. Right. I'm glad that the bad comedy podcast exists.
Me too.
Because, and that's why I have my little flag there. It's yin and yang. If every, do you know how upset I would be if every podcast was my fucking podcast? I would be so bored.
Right.
But to have an antithesis to this, I think you need it. You need the bad comedy podcast. You need I can't remember what it's called, but St. James has a podcast. Do you know what it's called?
Oh shit, I don't know.
Yeah, but he has a podcast. It's like we need that. Like, it's just a bunch of different vibes. That's what I like about Chicago.
Yeah.
Everyone is so different.
For sure.
Even when you watch the podcast, like you see one episode can be Emily Ogle, another episode could be Claire Sunby, and these are very different human beings.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
except both lesbian.
Except both lesbian. And even that is fucking fascinating. That these two white lesbians living in Chicago doing stand-up comedy can be so drastically
also
different.
Both from rural towns.
But in completely different experiences.
Yeah, completely different experiences. You're right.
And I'm like, okay, well, how did one, because they're it's like a litmus test. Like, how did Emily become Emily, and how did Claire become Claire? Yeah. Was that who they were always gonna be, or did their environment play? It's fascinating.
Yeah, it is very interesting.
But the quote, I'm gonna make up a version of it because you'll get what it means. So
your version.
The quote is essentially, when they came for the blacks, I said nothing, because they didn't come for me. When they came for the Mexicans, I said nothing because they didn't come for me. When they came for the Asians, I said nothing because they didn't come for me, and so on and so forth. And then when they came for me, there was no one else to speak up. And so the reason I struggle with the idea of like, well, I just disagree. The reason I have this like, no, this has to be pushed back on is because, and again, historically, it's like this will lead to something horrifying. How old were you in 2016?
I was 14.
Okay. So, you just tell me if you don't want to talk about this. This
Go
will be
ahead,
interesting.
go.
Donald Trump.
Yeah.
In 2016, what were your thoughts of him then?
Oh, fuck no.
Okay, why?
I was fucking hoping Obama would get reelected. You know, honestly, dude, third, you look at it, baby.
Okay.
That's why I love black people. It was like Obama's still the president, bro. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck who's the president in fucking 2046. Obama's still the motherfucking president.
In
So
my
we get
heart.
another brother in the fucking house. Obama's still the motherfucking president, dude. That's why I love it.
So
Nah,
you
dude.
were like, nah.
Yeah, no, I'm still like anti-Trump. Like I don't. I would rather him not be in the
Same.
White House. Yeah.
So when he became president the first time, it was interesting how fast people adjusted to chaos.
For sure.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't think people remember. Like, when you go back to pre-Trump, it's so calm.
Yeah.
It's so tame relative to everything that's going on now. And, I mean, you could name, like, he's been indicted for the 4th time. Now he's going to, like, and I'm so used to it. Like, this is just life.
Yeah.
But every time I take a step back and I think about, like, where we started from, all the Kafifi, all the way to this, it's like, it's what is it? When you put a frog in, if you want to boil a frog alive, you don't just turn on the heat and throw him in.
Right.
You just leave him in the water and you slowly turn
cook
up
it.
the heat.
Right.
And it's like, I remember pre-Trump, learning about the Nazis. I don't know if you can tell I'm a big history guy, especially American history is interesting.
I love American history.
Also, I will shut the fuck up in a second, as I know this is technically your episode.
No, dude, I love this.
But I was really interested in American history, and I remember thinking, like, how the fuck did Hitler, like, when you,
Right.
that's crazy. You got an entire country whole country
Millions of people.
to, like, turn on this one group of people,
Right.
and then corral them into death camps.
Well, anybody that wasn't white.
Right, yes, but for the sake of simplicity, I'm just...
Well, yeah, for sure.
It's like, how the fuck did you do that? And in my head, I was like, I guess he just got on a podium and decided he's the dictator.
Basically.
But in reality, it was like, what the context was, in World War I, basically the Germans lost that.
Right.
And they were poor, and they were disenfranchised. They were just not in a good headspace.
Right.
And Hitler, like, he took that anger and that frustration, and he just kind of he had a scapegoat.
Right.
And over time, with enough propaganda, saying,
wrote that book.
Yeah. Fake news,
Right.
and all that bullshit, like, over enough time, you can kind of get in someone's head and make them do some crazy shit.
Sure.
And so when it comes to Trump, when it comes to this idea of, like, freedom of speech, I even, in one of, in Matthew Doyle Perez's, I have to say his full name for some reason.
That's
but
why I just say Perez.
in one of his clips, he says, like, yes, like, say what all the slurs you want. And in my head, I'm like, I mean, yes, you can, but do you need to? Why? Like, why do you need to? Why do you feel the need to do that? I'm gonna stop talking because I want your opinion, because I said a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, man. I mean, I'll say this. Patrice O'Neill quote.
Okay.
Is that black people didn't get any reparations for slavery. What they did get is language. That's why black people are allowed to say cracker any day they want, and people can just laugh and ha 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 whatever. So that's what they got. That's why I believe language is so powerful, is because you can move countries with words. People try to do it with war, but genuinely you can do it with words.
So then we agree that language is palpable and real and effective.
100%.
So with that in mind, complete freedom of speech?
You need to include every single word.
Okay.
Every single any word that has come up in the human dictionary.
Sure. Every
include
word
that word
is in
because
this pot.
we need to, because humans are different, man. Every
Yeah.
human's different, and humans think differently. So you need to be able to humans need to be able to like get their point across in their own words,
Yes.
and that's how we need to move across.
You know I'm an American Sign Language interpreter?
Yes, I did know that.
Okay. So I'm with you.
Yeah.
Language is super important.
100%.
I didn't realize how important it was until I became an interpreter.
Yeah, man.
Now, I agree with you, this like, you need all the words. You need as much lexicon as possible to articulate what you're thinking
Right.
to other people.
Exactly.
Now, if we add context to it, then to me it gets more complex. So, for instance,
for sure.
we have all the words; they're all available,
Mm-hmm.
but black people say this word and nobody else should.
Mm-hmm.
So now we've added a little bit of context.
Right.
Now, and I'm sorry, Matthew, I know you're not here to explain yourself, but you seem to know him pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, would Matthew or would you say, like, that's technically not freedom of speech? If this group can say it, but this group can't say it, is that not freedom of speech? Like, where's that line to you?
I would say that is not freedom of speech. However, if you can say it.
Yeah, you could.
But
Yeah.
I agree that black people have their right to beat your ass if you're using it in a negative context.
Okay.
Like I've seen countless times where white people say the word and it's not negatively towards another black person, and the black person will just be like, "Hey man, watch your language," and then our day moves on. But if it's in a negative way towards that person, they have the right to beat your fucking ass.
Okay. Now, add some more context. So this
Sure.
is my upbringing.
Sure.
That's the response I usually hear about it, was like, well, then black people gonna beat you up. What happens, in my case, when you're the only black person and they're all saying it and you can't beat everybody up?
You better run.
But-
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, Jesus. But yeah, but like in that situation, then what is your view of it? Yeah, because they can say whatever they want, right?
100%. They can say whatever they want. Like if
But they have no consequence.
well, how are they using it?
They're threatening me and attacking me.
Well, then you should probably pull out your gun and shoot people because your life is being threatened, and you have an American right to carry a gun and shoot people if your life is threatened.
Do you know about the histories of the Black Panthers and the guns in America?
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, I'm like, yeah, I'd rather. So this can continue to escalate, right? We can keep going. In
Right.
my head, here's my logic. It's, let's go right back to the beginning. How about this white person just not do this?
Right.
Like instead of well,
Right.
they can say whatever they want. So then you fight, but then there's a bunch of them and you're all alone.
Right.
So then you take
You're
out
right.
it keeps going.
It keeps
or
going.
you could have the maturity to just like not.
That's the thing, bro. That's the thing. The only reason we have all these things is because people are stupid. And like the abortion thing, like
Sure.
if you just wore a condom, motherfucker, or didn't, or not have sex, or just got married, you know what I mean? Like did the responsible shit and having a baby and creating another human life, we wouldn't have to be through all this shit. You know what I mean? But no, people want to get drunk and be stupid and do all this thing, so that's why we have to implicate all these rules and all these boundaries.
So you feel like those boundaries are to rein in dummies.
Yeah. 100%,
Okay.
100%.
So we'll use the abortion law as an example.
Sure.
So like we need to make it illegal.
No,
to rein
no,
in
it should be legal.
Should be legal.
Should be legal for sure.
Because of the implication before, if I understood it correctly, was that there are dummies out there who won't think
Right.
ahead. And they'll have a
Or
baby.
there are rapists out there.
Right.
There are assholes.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like these are like assholes and dummies
Mm-hmm.
are what make the laws in this country because we got to rein these motherfuckers in. You know what I mean? Like it can't be just complete anarchy because then fuck, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? But nobody. What was that Sid Guru quote? You know what I'm talking
Sid
about?
Guru?
Is like democracy is for the people, by the people, something the people.
There's people in it.
But the people are retarded.
Yeah, it's like it's tough. I think it's tough to make laws and rules because
Yeah,
the
dude.
people making the laws and rules, I think, want to benefit themselves as much as possible.
I'm glad I'm not doing it, but we need better people for sure.
Yeah.
We need Need younger people in there.
Yeah, man, I agree. There's a lot of old. Was all of them? They're all like old as shit.
Every single one of them.
Yeah.
And they're all passing the laws.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
You're young. You're gonna live longer than. Well, you're not longer than me, but
hopefully.
Yeah, maybe. But you're young. Are you like optimistic about the future?
I'm pretty optimistic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, human race has been around for a while. I think we still got a few hundred more thousand years before we completely go
ass up.
Yeah. We go through phases, I think.
Yeah.
We go through phases.
Yeah.
World War II phase, like you said, it was a phase. And then the 50s and 60s were pretty chill. Not for black people, of course. But towards the end of the 60s, they got, 70s and 80s were chill, right?
Yeah.
90s were fucking awesome. People love the 90s.
I miss the 90s.
Exactly. That's what we go through phases. So we'll see what the 30s will be like.
It's very chill, man.
Yeah.
It's very reasonable.
Yeah.
Do you think you'd be as chill if it wasn't for weed?
Oh, I don't know. I think I've always been like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long is it? How long could you think you can go without smoking?
Fuck, dude. Speaking of, I could go a day, but I need to smoke at night if I'm gonna sleep, man.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
I have that same thing. Sleeping and eating.
Sleeping and eating. I can eat without it. Just sleeping is pretty hard for me. Sleeping is hard for me in general.
Yeah.
But I think that's genetic because my mom's the same way. Like, she can't sleep, and she doesn't smoke.
Fuck me. I was gonna say something. I can't remember what it was.
No, you're all good, man.
This is what drugs do. Oh, do you do anything outside of stand-up? Do you have any hobbies?
I shoot pool.
Oh.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I like to shoot pool.
You like hustle people?
Nah, man. That's kind of that's old. Yeah, I like to shoot pool. I also own a firearm, so I'll go to the gun range every now and then and just kind of hang out there.
What type of gun do you have?
It's a pistol. I got a pistol. It's a FN 509. You can look that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, 9mm.
Are you like a good shot? Are you like John Wick?
I'm getting better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you want to like own like a gun collection? Like you walk into your house and you have like AK-47s?
Nothing huge. I probably want to get a few more guns,
Yeah.
but I don't want like 50 of them.
What's the appeal for you? Because I had guns back home.
Mm-hmm.
I had a shotgun and a revolver.
Mm-hmm.
And before I get into my whole thing, what is the appeal for guns for you?
For me, they're just fun, dude.
Yeah.
They're just really fun. It's pretty cool, and it's something that like will defend my house. You know what I mean? Like, you break into my house, I will defend it. And yeah, dude, that's pretty much that. But I'm also like you said earlier, in the off chance our government turns into some Nazi regime, and they start breaking in our doors, fuck no, dude. That's why I love the Second Amendment, because if everybody has guns, that will never happen.
I disagree.
Really?
Yeah. Disagree.
Really?
Do you know what happened to Breonna Taylor?
Yes.
For those the uninitiated, it was a woman, it's a black woman.
It was the George Floyd. It
was around
that same time. Yeah.
So I think this was pre-COVID though. I think.
Nah, I think it was.
Was it during COVID?
I think it was right after Floyd.
Dude, my perception of time is so fucked.
Yeah.
But regardless, black woman, I think she was with her boyfriend too. Cops. If I understand the facts correctly, they start shooting through the doors, and the boyfriend has a gun. He's shooting back, which is giving them even more reason to continue shooting. And then I know they killed her. I don't know. Can't remember. I think the boyfriend survived.
Yeah.
And that's just the cops. That's not the military, dog.
No, that's the cops.
If I had an arsenal in this bitch, and the military rolled up, I mean, what am I going to do? How am I going to protect? You know what I mean?
Right.
So this isn't to say that you shouldn't own a gun. This is not what I'm saying at all.
Right.
But my feelings of it are like, when I had my guns and I shot them and shit, like, it wasn't fun for me. It was more like, I kept thinking, like, what is on the opposite end of this barrel that I've just shot? Like, if this was a person, I don't know how I would feel.
Yeah, no, I don't want it. No, I don't. The person that wants to take a life is crazy and should be locked up. You know what I mean?
Right. But then they all have guns.
Right.
So then I go. It's like it's the escalation thing. They have guns, so I'm like, well, now I need to have a fucking gun to protect myself from this fucking idiot with the gun. To me, it has nothing to do with the government, because if the government wanted to fuck you up, they're fucking
They
you
really
up.
could. You're absolutely right.
So like to me, it's I would only want a gun to protect myself from the fucking idiot who also has a gun.
Again, the idiots.
Yeah, they're going back to the
Going back
fucking
to the
idiots. And and it's too late now. It's a wrap. Logic, like the guns are out. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But if you give all these fucking idiots guns, here we are.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's a paranoid, horrifying existence. Working in a school,
For sure.
it's fucking terrifying.
That's why I think education is a big important too. Like I think we should have a gun class in every single school in America. Like safety, like firearm safety. Mm-hmm. This is how you use a firearm. This is how you use it properly. You take out the mag, you clear it, you make sure there's nothing, and then you can start cleaning it, whatever. Mm-hmm. Like I think there should be a class in that. You know what I mean? Like if we all educate ourselves on how to do this, then we can kind of weed out the crazies and everything like that, and be like, all right, this person, you know.
Would you like my ideal scenario? Here's my fantasy.
Let me hear it.
Okay. Other than our military, for obvious reasons, having guns,
Mm-hmm.
the cops don't have guns. The people don't have guns. Nobody has a gun.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone has mandatory martial arts training.
Mm.
Because nobody accidentally gets choked out.
Sure.
and
Sure.
and you don't. Again, I'm not a gun guy, so
Yeah.
you correct me if I'm wrong here, but you don't. When you pull the trigger, you didn't earn the ability to kill somebody. In martial arts, you have to get your ass kicked over and over and over before
sure.
you ever can do any damage on somebody.
Very tribal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is very human to me.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of respect for this is actually a little more my traditional side. You ready, man? This will be interesting. I think dudes need to man the fuck up and fight. And it's like I went to Ireland in 2017. I don't know why I pointed that way. I don't know where the fuck it.
Oh no, I just heard the thing flapping in the wind and all that.
I went to Ireland in 2017.
That sounds
and
sick.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I went to the bar and they were talking mad shit. And I can't do the accent.
On the US?
Yeah. They were like, you guys are pussies. Like, we just fight. Like, we don't. Why are you doing this?
I have a funny story for you.
Yeah,
after
I want to
this.
hear it.
Okay, so we were at the Pony Inn one day, and this was a few weeks ago, and there was a bunch of Irish guys there, just a bunch. And I thought they all knew each other because there were so many of them, you know what I mean? But there was like on one end of the Pony Inn, it was all outside. There was one end of the Pony Inn, like on the eastern side, just like one group like arguing at each other, like two guys arguing at each other. And then on our side, on the west side, there was like people arguing at each other. And they're like, you know, fucking fighting. And I was like, yeah, this is just the culture, dude. This is just what they do, and they fight. And then after they like kind of stopped like bickering, I asked that dude, I was like, is that your friend? Like, do you know? He's like, no, I don't know anybody here. And I was like, why are there so many fucking Irish guys here, bro? Like, this is fucking insane.
Yeah,
and as I was leaving, bro, there was two guys wrestling. There was
Just
two
in the
guys
middle of a
wrestling.
bar?
Like, no, just like right on the sidewalk,
Yeah.
dude. And yeah, I was like, I got in my car and pulled out because I didn't want him to run into my car.
This is a smart move.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have respect for that.
Yeah, for sure. I have
Because
respect.
generally speaking, nobody dies from that. I mean,
Right.
don't get me wrong, you can get hit in the wrong space or whatever. Shit can go wrong.
Right.
But like, no, you're not gonna go into a movie theater and karate chop everybody. You're not going into you're not going into an elementary school and punching all of the kids to death. Like,
Right.
there's whether there's that bullshit that people say. An armed society is a civilized society.
Mm-hmm.
Not to me. An armed society is a bunch of paranoid, crazy people now.
Mm-hmm.
To me, a civilized society is a trained society, trained in how to physically defend themselves with their hands and their feet and their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that is far more respectable
Mm-hmm.
and far less dangerous and truly does keep people calmer. You're going to get healthier people.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get people that are more confident in themselves. Bullying's done. That's a wrap. You're not bullying nobody if everybody knows how to fight.
Yeah, dude.
And there's a sense of respect. And I think that part of my saying this is because I've been taking jujitsu and I've been so fucking crazy about it.
Yeah.
But I go into that space. When I've gone into a gun store, it's heavy. It's like, Jesus, like this feels angry.
Mm.
And then when I go into my jujitsu space, when I go to a martial arts space, it's really calm and light. Everyone's friendly because everyone knows they can all beat the fuck out of each other.
Yeah.
So
and you're all there for a common purpose.
Yeah, common purpose.
It's the same thing in the gun store, though. Like, we're all there. Like, mostly everybody that goes in there is there for a common purpose. Is they like guns, they want to shoot, and they want to learn how to defend themselves. Like you were saying, like, so the jiu-jitsu thing, like, it's very tribal. You know what I mean? You got to get your ass beat.
Yeah.
And you got to learn the ways. A lot like stand-up, too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even back in the day, in the tribal days, they had their bow and arrows. They had their projectiles. They needed to kill something.
Yes.
Quickly. And, yeah, that's, I mean.
If someone came to an elementary school with a bow and arrow. Do you know how fucking, I don't give a fuck if you're a Hawkeye. Yo, a couple of teachers are tackling your bitch ass to the ground. They're going to snap that shit. What's his name from The Walking Dead? You got a bow and arrow?
Yeah.
My point isn't that I'm not saying guns are bad. I get war and I get it. Yeah. I get it. And I'm not saying don't have a gun because we live in the world where the guns are all out anyway.
There should be regulations. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It should be like it shouldn't be like all out anarchy like it is in Texas. Walking to a Walmart and anybody can get a gun.
It's so
you know what I mean? That's a little crazy.
But
so I do think there should be restrictions, but I think like in the classroom that's where it should start. I think there should be like a jiu-jitsu class and gym class. You know what I mean? Just everybody learns it. There should be a gun class. You know, everybody should learn the safety because this is how this is our country. This is what our country was founded on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like you said, the idiots.
Yeah.
There's gonna be some motherfucker. It happens.
Yes.
Walk into a movie theater, walk into a mall with a shotgun. That jiu-jitsu ain't gonna do shit, son.
I agree. Because the cat's out of the bag.
Cat's out of the bag.
It's a wrap now. We have all the guns.
There's just people out there who want people to who mean to do other people harm.
Yes.
And those people should not have a gun.
I agree.
If they got a gun, they got it illegally. That's how it should be.
Yes, but it isn't. And the laws that I think those types of people make continue to make it easier and easier and easier, and it's like it's just fucked up. It's fucked up. It's sad. And I think if you work in a school, you know what I mean. You were just in school recently. Like you're around children, and the idea that we had them. We had gun safety training. You know, lockdown drills?
Yeah, lockdown drills, yeah.
That shit was not a thing when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like, when I was a kid, it was unheard of.
That started for me in, like, 6th grade. No, earlier than that, 4th grade.
That's like so fucking sad.
Yeah.
Like, we have to do lockdown drills, and everyone gets under the thing. Yeah. And I'm seeing some of the kids snicker because they're kids and they don't understand, like, no, bitch, this is real.
This is actually going to happen.
I remember when I was substituting, I was in a high school, I think, and it was younger high school. I think it was like freshmen and sophomores, and we had a safety gun lockdown drill, or whatever, and it just happened randomly. I'm like, okay, everyone turn off the lights, go and do the tests, whatever, and then our door, we're all supposed to lock the doors. Our doors didn't lock.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so I'm like,
that's the teacher.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's the fucking.
They should have locked that.
But the lock was broken, and I'm like,
ooh.
I'm like, what if this was actually. What if this was real?
You guys are fucked.
Right. And so I have to stand there, hold the door open, and they have a teacher going from door to door to check.
Wait. You stood at the door holding it?
I had to. Because it would have opened. So the way the drill worked was the teacher, a principal or whatever, goes from door to door and opens it to make sure all the doors are open.
Right.
Ours was broken. So the only thing I could do was physically hold it.
Oh, you're the teacher.
I'm the teacher.
Dude,
I'm the
I
sub.
forgot. In my mind, you were a student.
No, I'm a grown man.
My bad.
I'm responsible for 20 children.
Yeah.
And so I'm holding the thing, and I'm not freaking out like this is a drill, everything's fine.
Yeah.
But in my head, I'm like, if this was real, because this could possibly happen.
Yeah.
If this was real, we're dead.
Yeah.
This is the door he's coming into, and he's shooting all of us up. And I'm the one who has to hold the door.
Yeah.
And these fucking kids are snickering and they're talking. And after the drill was over, I sat them down. I yelled at them. I was like, look, I don't know you guys. This is my first day here.
Right.
And if that was real, I'm supposed to die for you? I don't know you. I don't like you. I don't like you. I don't know you. We're not friends. I don't know any of your names. I have a little piece of paper that has your last names on it. We're not fucking buddies. Next time, I didn't say shut the fuck up, but I was like, next time you do a drill like this, you take it seriously.
Yeah. What the fuck? I'm supposed to die for you fucks?
It was. Yeah.
That's funny, dude. Oh, man.
So... So like when I get realistically, it's like they're out there. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. There's people out there.
It's too late.
Idiots. It's too late. Right.
But it just...
See, don't you wish... See, if you had a gun, right?
And I shot all the
in
kids?
your waistband. No, I'm not. I mean, that then you're the one to worry about.
Right.
But
But I just flash it real quick?
yeah, is your phone okay?
Yeah, my phone's good.
No, but I'm just saying, like, if you had a concealed carry license and
Okay.
a FOID, and you had a gun on you, nobody... I mean, you don't got to tell... If you tell people you have a gun on you, that's brandishing a firearm, and that's illegal.
Okay.
So you can't really tell people you got a gun on you. But... If you had it on you, and if it was a real thing, you would be able to protect those kids.
Now, then, okay, so that happens, right? I protect, I shoot back. We're in a shootout. I'm in a shootout with this person, and then the cops come.
Mm-hmm.
How do they know who's the good guy with the gun, who's the bad guy with the gun?
Well, that's where witnesses come in, or cameras, hopefully, and to be like, this is the guy that walked in with the gun, started shooting people up, and
Right.
And you also have kids in your class that you were teaching
Mhm.
that saw you be like, no, our teacher went out and took care of business.
But this is during the shootout. The shootout's happening. Cops
okay,
are coming.
okay.
They see two people with guns shooting.
Yes.
How do they know who's the good guy, who's the bad guy?
Well, that's where you got to unclip your firearm, take a round out, and just put them separately away, put your hands up, and walk out.
Okay. So the other guy's shooting at me. I have to put my gun down to make sure that the cops don't shoot
Well,
at
this
me.
is... No. I'm assuming,
You're waiting till the dust is cleared.
Right, the dust is clear. That's what I thought you were talking
Right.
about.
No, I'm saying we're in a shootout.
Cops are coming
'Cause,
in.
Yeah.
Coming in hot.
If he's shooting at me, I'm shooting at him.
Sure.
We're all bullets are going everywhere.
Sure.
Kids are ducking.
Sure.
Cops are coming in.
Sure.
How do you know who's the good guy, who's the bad guy?
Shit, man, hopefully the cops are on their shit that day, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know I'm black.
Yeah,
So
no. Hopefully the cops. Hopefully hopefully every single cop there is the good cop that we all want the cops to be.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yes.
Do you know who Philando Castile was?
Mm-mm.
So Philando Castile was, I believe he was a teacher. Black dude. I'll show you a picture of him. Philando Castile. So here he is. This is Philando Castile.
Okay.
So I think he was in the South. I can't remember which part of the South, but he was in the South. And he had all legal, had his concealed carry, had all the stuff. He was in the car, passenger seat with his girlfriend, back seat with his daughter. I think she's like 4 or 5. And the cops pull him over. This is all on camera. And cop comes over. He's like, "Can I get license registration?" He says, "Yes, officer. I also need to let you know that I have a firearm, and I have a legally owned firearm in the car."
Mm-hmm.
The cop was like, "Well, don't reach for it." And he's like, I'm not. And then the cop fires 5 shots in this man's chest in front of his daughter and his wife.
That's terrible.
Yeah. And then he pointed the gun at the wife, who had the God bless her, had the wherewithal to be calm, to get on the phone and say, "Officer, I'm not going to hurt you." And the officer's screaming. He's freaking out. He's like, don't do anything. And she's like, "Officer, I'm not doing anything. I'm sitting here. I'm not, my hands are."
Yeah,
she had to calm the guy with the gun down.
Yeah.
The reason he's so fucking trigger-fingered and itchy and scared is because he knows everyone else has guns. So even if he is the good guy with the gun, he's still a guy. He's a human with a gun around a bunch of other humans with guns.
Yeah.
My point is, and then you add the racial element, this perception of black people, black men in particular, being violent and dangerous, thugs and all this stuff. I understand what you're saying, and I want to continue to reiterate that, like, the guns it's too late. It's over. It's Pandora's box is open. You're right. But I don't like this fucking fetishization. Not say you're doing that, but I don't like this fetishization, this idea, this magical Captain America land where, well, then the officers come in and they save the day because that's what is supposed to happen. It's like, no, these are fucking guns and bullets flying everywhere.
Right. Bullets don't got a name on them.
And it's fucking wild.
No, you're absolutely right.
I will be quiet now. I want to hear your opinions.
Yeah, so my thing is, that's a terrible cop. And I feel like that goes into, like, educating the cops. Because, that man did nothing wrong, and that cop was wrong in that situation every single way. But I've seen videos of situations where it's a black man, and he has a firearm, legal carry, everything, got the whole thing, and the interaction goes smoothly. You know what I mean? And I've seen it work. unless it was staged or some shit. I don't know, but
it's a psyop, bro.
Yeah, it could
Don't
be.
you listen to
man.
Alex Jones?
Nah, man, I listen to Eddie Bravo. Fucking talking about flat Earth gang. Space is fake. I don't give a fuck. No, yeah, dude. So I believe it's possible where we can live in a society where it is okay for a black man to own a gun and cops will not shoot at him. You know what I mean?
You believe it's possible, or you believe it's happening now?
I believe it's possible, and it is partially happening now. It's not every. It's. I would say, it happening is less than not happening for sure. You know what I mean? But it's possible for sure.
So how do we get to a point, like, in your head, if you're the master, you're the dictator of America, how do we get to the point where that happens? Because I know you're saying it's possible. How do we get to the point where it happens? How would you if you could control America and make it do what it does, how would you get to that point?
Man, it's kind of tough. I don't know, because I mean, like in rural towns, the cops in those towns grew up in those towns, so they know everybody in that town. You know what I mean? So if like a black family's going on a road trip and they go through that white town, you know what I mean?
Sundown town,
right? They're bound to get pulled over and get fucked with.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's basically like, how do you educate those people into not being bigots?
So then to go back to what you were saying in the very beginning about sitting at the bar and I'm the white guy that's like, these niggers.
Right.
Is that your time to educate or no?
I guess you could say it is, yeah. You could say it is. Me personally, I don't know. It depends on how I'm feeling, I guess. You know what I mean? I don't know. Am I going to get in an argument with this guy? Or am I going to... Or... Because I don't know how he is either. Is he firm on his beliefs? Or is he actually willing to change? You know what I mean? So it's totally cool to just, like, kind of feel out. Just be like, you know, well, man, you know, like, this and that and the third and whatever.
So with your idea of how to get to a point where in our country we deal with guns in the correct, for lack of a better word, correct way, requires educating all of these people that don't want to listen and don't want to be educated and we've been trying to educate for forever and will continue to not listen. Yeah. What do we do now?
It's kind of, fuck, man.
So I don't think...
It's a double-edged sword.
I think what I'm saying is I don't believe it's possible.
Yeah.
I think that with the mindset of a good deal of people in this country, it's just not possible to convince them of anything, to get them to believe anyone that's different from them is a person that should be respected. They just don't. This is very somber. I'm sorry.
No. I completely agree. But again, that's also kind of like rural America. Like, nobody's around. Like, our cities are pretty cool, I feel like. Like, our the cops in our cities are fucked.
I've been called a nigger out here, too.
Like, from people or from, like, cops?
No, from a woman.
Oh, from a woman?
Yeah.
Damn,
And
I punched her.
Yeah, I almost did. And then in another bar, I got told to go back where I came from.
Damn.
Yeah, this is Chicago.
Damn.
Yep.
Chicago's
that segregated.
Chicago is segregated. You're absolutely right.
They didn't do that shit to me in the South Side.
You're absolutely right. But yeah, that's just yeah.
So
Chicago's a bad example, I guess.
No, the same shit happened in California, dude.
About New York. New York's pretty good melting pot.
I've never been to New York, so I can't.
I don't know, but my whole thing is just like not gonna get lynched out here in Chicago. You know what I mean? Like Jussie Smollett tried it. Like, how'd that work out for him? You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, I would say there's less racist people here than there are racist people here, and in like a small town in rural America, I would say there's more racist. I hate saying racist. It is racist, but what's the word? Ignorant. Less ignorant people out here than in the country, you know.
Yeah.
That's just how I kind of see it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I grew up in the city. I grew up with all different races and everything, and we didn't. I don't know. We all fucked with each other.
Say
I
it
don't
with
know.
your chest, dog.
No, I'm just saying, like fucking. I was called white boy and all that shit and whatever. And
when you say racist, what do you mean?
So generally, when I say racist, I'm just being. I think of like a person looking at another race and seeing less of a person in them because of the color of their skin.
Okay.
You know, like, because this person is this color, they don't have a soul, or they do this because they're this color, or they do that because they're this color. Like, that's racist.
Okay.
And ignorant.
I'm gonna look it up because I don't know. I don't have that shit memorized. So I'm just curious now.
That's my definition.
That's your definition.
Yeah.
Okay. So dictionary says prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism by an individual, community, or institution against a person or people on the basis of their membership in a particular race or ethnic group, typically one that's a minority or marginalized.
There you go.
Okay. All right. You want to talk about comedy?
Yeah, let's fucking talk. Yeah. No, this was fun, man. This was I like that little spiel.
Yeah.
No, you're gonna make me think in some shit, like think of some scenarios in my head.
Yeah.
Because I think it can work, man. I genuinely think I can work, but yeah, there's stupid people out there.
I'm also old and jaded.
I wouldn't say you're jaded.
Thank you.
No, you're old, but
I'm over the hill, man. But
yep.
I used to. And this isn't me trying to. I wanted to clarify. This isn't me trying to change your mind or convince you of shit. This is the podcast. This is how I think of things.
Yeah, no.
But I used to have a very similar thought to you, and as time has gone by, and the more I just the more life I live, the more I see, the more I'm like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
This shit not going. This is really bad.
Yeah.
But I admire your optimism. But comedy. We went on a crazy tangent.
We did. I like that. Yeah, let's talk about comedy, man.
God damn. Have you been paid yet?
Have I been what?
Have you been paid for doing comedy?
Oh, yeah.
How did it feel that first time?
Dude, that first time was sick. I kept that $10 in my pocket for like a week.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Man. That's awesome. How much time did you do?
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
Hey, $1 a minute.
Yeah. Bridges Up. I don't know if you've ever done that show.
I don't believe so.
It's way down south.
Okay.
Like 106th Street.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a car?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
It helps, yeah.
That's awesome. What, like, that feeling of that idea that, like, oh, shit, I can earn money from this.
Yeah.
Is crazy.
It is crazy.
And do you think, like, it seems like you're going the route of slow and steady. Let me just get better. You're not focused on the money right now.
No.
That's very smart.
You can't.
Yeah. Do you feel like how long do you think until you can make money that's like, oh, shit, I'm paying off bills and shit with this?
Ooh. It's a good question. I would say like 10 years.
Okay, so you'll be about my age, 30-something?
Yeah, 30-something. And then I think I'd be able to do the road, 200 shows a year type shit.
Yeah.
Be able to pay that shit off. I think 10 years I can do that, yeah.
You're very patient.
Yeah.
I dig it.
Yeah.
All right, you ready for what I think is my favorite question?
Go ahead.
Okay, because this is how I usually wrap it up.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna look into the camera.
Okay.
Pretend the camera's you 5 years from now. What do you want to say to yourself 5 years from now?
Let's be 26. I'll be 26 years old. You better be in Austin doing fucking comedy and be a paid regular at the mothership, or else, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing? Get on your shit, man. You gotta get this together. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, let's take this picture.
All right, man.